In the heart of a forgotten town, hidden within the embrace of mist-covered hills and shadowed forests, there stood a grand hotel seemingly lost in time, the Whispering Shadows Inn. This imposing structure, a beacon of faded elegance, stood tall and proud, a testament to the bygone era of opulence and grandeur. The ivy-covered exterior, tall spires, and ornate windows gave it an otherworldly aura, a beauty that was enigmatic and haunting at the same time. Yet, despite its alluring facade, the locals would pass by it, their eyes averted, their breath hushed. They would often speak of it in low, tremulous whispers, afraid that raising their voice would awaken the ghosts of its past. The hotel's history was a tapestry woven with threads of intrigue, mystery, and fear, a story untold and best left buried. The locals preferred to keep their distance, their curiosity suppressed by the daunting tales of its dark past. Despite its opulent facade, locals spoke of it in hushed tones, its dark history shrouded in mystery and fear. Hidden among the complex network of twisting corridors, where a myriad of rooms each bore their own secretive histories, one room held a distinction that set it apart from the rest. Room 333. This room, tucked away in a forgotten corner of the endless maze, was the subject of whispered tales and hushed conjectures. Its door, weathered and worn from the passage of countless years, stood as the only tangible witness to the secrets that lay within, beyond the reach of the curious and the brave. If walls could talk, the walls of room 333 would undoubtedly narrate tales steeped in mystery and shrouded in a cloak of dread. Each groove, each crevice, every tiny imperfection on that time-hardened door silently testified of secrets that time couldn't erase, secrets that still haunted the room. Legend had it that a deep tragedy had unfolded within its confines many years ago, a tale that sent shivers down the spine of even the most seasoned of storytellers. A hapless guest, weary and worn from his arduous journey, had once sought solace within its foreboding walls. He had checked into room 333, seeking nothing more than a night's rest, his only desire to find a safe haven from the storm that raged outside. Yet as the dawn broke, the man had vanished, evaporating into thin air as if he'd never existed. His abrupt disappearance left behind a trail of unanswered questions and an air of foreboding that clung to the room like a ghostly specter. As the sun dipped below the horizon and darkness descended upon the inn, bewildering and mysterious anomalies started to transpire. Residents would recount eerie mutterings that resonated throughout the establishment, their utterances unfathomable but teeming with an ominous premonition. Silhouettes capered along the plaster, contorting and squirming in a grotesque display of light and shadow, as if manipulated by invisible puppeteers. Tales arose of a ghostly figure of a woman, her spectral presence meandering through the passageways, her sorrowful look penetrating deep into one's conscience. She was not the sole, otherworldly incident that plagued room 333. Inanimate objects would inexplicably shift positions. Furniture would produce unsettling sounds as if animated by supernatural entities, and a frosty chill would pervade, reaching the very core of those bold enough to venture inside. Rumors swirled about disembodied whispers and phantom sightings. The inn was alive with stories of the supernatural, of things that went bump in the enigmatic woman, her translucent figure haunting the hallways, became the stuff of legends. The air within the inn was rife with an undercurrent of anxiety and fear, a palpable tension that gripped the guests and staff alike. Despite the terror, the inn had its own allure, its mysteries drawing the curious and adventurous. The chilling whispers, the spectral woman, the animated objects, all added to the inn's enigmatic charm. Yet there was an undeniable reality, a fact accepted by all. A bone-chilling coldness would seep into the very bones of those who dared to enter. One fateful night, a traveler arrived at the Whispering Shadows Inn, their curiosity piqued by the electrifying tales that swirled around room 333's haunted history. They were a wanderer, a seeker of mysteries that lay untold, drawn into the world of the supernatural and the unexplainable, like a moth to a flame. The Whispering Shadows Inn, a place notorious for its eerie ambiance anecdotes, seemed like the perfect place for their next adventure. Whispers of room 333 had been circulating in hushed tones among the locals, stories of unease and cold dread that filled one's heart with trepidation. From spectral figures seen in the dead of the night to the haunting lullaby that seemed to echo from its walls, room 333 had been in terror and mystery. Driven by an undeniable urge to unveil the truth behind these spine-chilling tales, they decided to book a night's stay in the infamous room 333. The receptionist gave a word of warning, her eyes wide with fear as she handed over the keys. However, our intrepid traveler was undeterred, their determination burning brighter than the flickering lights of the inn. As they ascended the creaky stairs leading to room 333, a sense unease started to creep in, but they shrugged it off, attributing it to the cold wind seeping through the cracks of the aging inn. Unbeknownst to them, the room was ready to unveil its dark secrets, the horrors that awaited them. As the clock struck midnight, the air became a heavy shroud, wrapping the room in an intense, otherworldly atmosphere. An oppressive weight fell, making each breath a struggle, as if the room itself was attempting to suffocate its intruder. The darkness buzzed with faint whispers, their words spiraling into a dissonant symphony of sheer insanity, creeping into the traveler's mind like a sinister tune. These whispers were not human. They were born from the shadows that thrived in the corners of the room. The scant candlelight danced upon the walls, casting these shadows into a grotesque pantomime. They twirled, jerked, and contorted, mocking the laws of nature and the sanity of the observer, their ephemeral forms constantly morphing into ever more terrifying shapes. They were characters in a play written by the mad, a play of shadows, whispers, and fear. Within the heart of the traveler, a primal drum began to sound, each beat echoing the terror that unfurled in this ghastly room. Despite their grit and determination, they felt their courage wane, their bodies surrendering to the paralyzing fear that made their heart hammer in their chest. Every flicker, every whisper, every contorted shadow was a brushstroke painting a macabre picture of dread. And from this canvas of darkness, a figure emerged. It was her, the ghostly visage of a woman. Her face was a symphony of torment, her features twisted into a chilling expression of despair. Her eyes, voids of nothingness, seemed to stare into the very essence of the traveler, filling them with a sense of dread that transcended any terror they had ever experienced. And then she appeared, the ghostly figure of the woman, her pallid face twisted in a mask of anguish and despair. Her eyes, empty and hollow, bore into the very soul of the traveler, filling them with a sense of dread unlike anything they had ever known. In a panic, the traveler tried to flee, but the door remained unyielding, their desperate pleas falling on deaf ears. Caught within the claustrophobic grasp of room 333, they were at the mercy of an unseen force, a cruel puppeteer pulling invisible strings. As the hours ticked by, the nocturnal terror escalated, the line separating reality from a nightmare growing increasingly thin until it was practically non-existent. The darkness whispered chilling secrets lost to time, cryptic messages that echoed through the cold, empty chamber, each one more disturbing than the last. The very walls surrounding them seemed to in pain, as if they too were victims of this unrelenting torment. Echoes of cries, pleas for mercy, resounded within the confines of the room, each one a chilling reminder of their dire situation. Heart pounded in their chest, their breath came out in ragged gasps, and their mind raced swirling thoughts of fear and despair. They felt the room closing in on them, the oppressive darkness pressing, suffocating them. Their senses were overcome by the horrors that had taken residence within these walls. Each moment was filled with escalating dread, their fear tangible in the thick, oppressive air, but then a glimmer of hope. As unexpectedly as it had commenced, the all-consuming darkness began to recede. The first rays of dawn started to pierce the inky blackness like ethereal swords. The traveler emerged from room 333, shaken but alive, their mind forever scarred by the horrors they had witnessed within.